Today we are reviewing Creep 2, which is the sequel to Creep by Mark Duplass, and this is Horror Movie Talk. Do you need someone to fix your TV and don't know where to look? Are you on the market for a new apartment? Did you meet a guy at a coffee shop and shortly after start receiving DVDs of yourself sleeping and someone walking around your house at night completely unbeknownst to you? Have no fear. Craigslist is here for all your wants and needs. Visit the services section and click technology to find the right technician for your TV. Navigate to our housing section for rooms to rent. And don't forget, go to the missed connections section to see if your stalker is waiting for you to take the bait. Happy hunting!
Is this a metal thing?
Yes. Little taste.
David, what is this?
It's pretty thick.
Break.
I have to kill a lot of people. Just tell me what you want me to fuck.
I have big tits and a tiny vagina.
Oil me up, Daddy.
I can't believe that Bryce prefers big tits.
Mistletoe alert.
This is backcountry.
This guy was a real jerk.
How long can Hugo being pregnant?
Chomp, chomp, chompa, chompa.
Oh, you're such a dick, David.
Okay, everybody, put on your corpse handling gloves.
Ew.
Hoodie Picasso.
Horror.
Hello, and welcome to Horror Movie Talk. I'm the girly girl Sydney, and with me are my co-hosts, beautiful Bryce Hanson and manly Max Allen. We are opinionated and accidentally funny horror movie review show. New theatrical releases always get priority, but we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Full video available on YouTube. Don't be a square. Make sure to share. Also check out patreon.com/horrormovietalk, the equivalent of your adult section at your video rental store. And if you want to add your pee to the community pool, go to horrormovietalk.com or call 682-253-4468 and leave us a voicemail.
Bryce, since when do you have strobing lights?
I've always had strobing lights because I'm a cool guy.
It is cool.
Jesus Christ.
There's the paparazzi.
We have to
No photos. No photos, please.
We have to put a seizure warning on this, an epilepsy
Got a
warning.
bad bulb. We got
Wow.
the disco. Jesus.
See, you
got-
really have had this forever and just haven't used it?
No.
Yeah, that would have been cool on the Void episode.
I think I've used the police one before.
Yeah, the police one's pretty good.
You're getting pulled over.
Oh no, Bryce, they came for you. They came for you because you gave Imaginary a good score.
This is lightning. It's not super convincing. This is TV. This one's pretty good too.
Yeah,
Oh,
TV's
wow. Cool.
Yeah.
good. Wow.
Yeah, I think like the most useful one is the police one.
It's so good.
FBI.
Beautiful. So yeah, as I said in the beginning, we've got a great show. We're doing Creep 2 today. We'll start out by giving a brief review and our score for the movie. We score on a scale of 1 to 10. After we give our score, we'll get into spoilers and take a deeper dive into what we liked and hated about the film. And later, it's not really a game, but I decided to do best of Craigslist misconnections because I found really, really funny ones, and I'm just gonna read them to you guys. I have a bunch, so we'll pick and choose. I'll just tell you the titles, and you can say which one you want me to read.
Cool.
Yeah. So Creep 2 can be found on Netflix if you haven't been kicked out of the household yet, because Netflix is, if you didn't know, kicking everyone out who is not on a singular Wi-Fi network. And me, my mom, and my sister all live in different places. So I have commandeered it as mine. But sometimes my sister does it. It's really annoying. So if you haven't been kicked off of Netflix, you can watch it on there.
I mean, my parents paid for the multiple Wi-Fi's option, so you know, just a rich kid over here.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I'm I'm not privileged like that, but so Creep 2 continues the story of Aaron, played by Mark Duplass, a serial killer who posts want ads on Craigslist seeking documentarians who inadvertently film their own murders. Sara, played by Desiree Akhavan, has a failing YouTube show and decides to take Aaron up on his offer. Throughout her documentary of Aaron, she empathizes with him and barely believes him when he swears he's a serial killer. On the other hand, Aaron seems like he has finally found his match. Will he kill her? Will she kill him? Is this the end of the Craigslist serial killer as we know it? So my review of Creep 2 is that it's one of those sequels that actually gives a fresh look on the original. It does not repeat overdone tropes or follow the same storyline whatsoever. This movie could stand alone and it still makes sense and would still be very effective. There are funny one-liners, there are jump scares, there is a badass woman who won't take any shit. This is not your typical killer chases victim movie. Besides the original, this movie is a fresh take on found footage horror, which is my favorite genre. It is excellent. It pulls all punches. It takes you on a very adventurous ride. This truly is an exceptional feat of horror movie making as we know it. Creep was good enough, inventive enough, but this sequel takes it to a whole nother level. My only few complaints is that there could have been more fleshing out of Sara since she is the central character, and I think knowing what's going to happen upon rewatching makes it a bit less effective. Other than that, it's pretty damn good, and I give it an 8 out of 10. What say you?
I really liked it, and I've seen it before, but Creep is probably my favorite movie of all time. It's so good. It's like perfect, and I just think that this is a really good sequel. Like you said, it doesn't feel like I've seen too much of this character, or that like I'm just seeing the same thing again. And he's just so funny yet like menacing at the same time, and you don't really know what to think even after watching the first one. And you know what kind of a person he is, like you're still kind of like, is he just a lovable, nice guy? I can't tell. It's so interesting. So yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10. I really enjoy this movie. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Max. Like, I love Creep. I think it's one of the best movies ever, just in terms of tone and comedic timing and pacing. And yeah, this is a really good sequel. I think the first time I watched it, I was like, it's okay, but it's not Creep. I think I have more appreciation for it this time watching it. Just in terms of like the creative direction, it kind of goes more into midlife crisis and being like, I don't feel it anymore when I kill people.
That spark, it's gone.
Yeah. And you know, what worked in the first movie was the viewer. I mean, that's the most amazing thing about the first movie is like the viewer doesn't know what's going on. Like, he seems harmless, but like what is he getting at? Like, this is weird. I never like felt in danger necessarily from this guy. And then, but like there's enough doubt that you're like, what is going on? He is kind of menacing, and he is like seem dangerous, and literally you don't know until the final 5 minutes of the movie. And this one, like, you already know he is a killer, and so all of that novelty is removed. And it's interesting that it starts out he's just comes clean with the documentarian just saying like, yeah, I'm a serial killer, and then she just doesn't believe him, which is a great device, and it does make it fresh, and there's enough twists and turns in it, and like the kind of character motivation of Aaron and the girl
Sara
makes sense.
Kate, you're just making up names.
Sorry, I was on Creep IMDb and it only has 3 characters. So, yeah. So like it makes sense, like with the dynamics. That being said, like it's not even really close to Creep for me, like in terms of my enjoyment.
Interesting.
Still really good. I'd give it like I'd give Creep a 10, but I'd give this probably like a 7.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's pretty good.
7, 8, 9. That's not bad. Yeah. I mean, I agree with the criticisms. I think Creep was so crazy. Like the first time seeing that, like I agree with like you don't know what's going on. You're just like, this guy's a weirdo, but he's funny, and like I think he's lying, but also it's just so entertaining that I just want to keep watching this. And yeah, once that novelty wears off, it's like it's also very funny that in this movie too. And his little midlife crisis is hilarious, but yeah, it's just, I agree. I think I do like the first one better. I also hadn't seen this for like 6 years, so I think since it like came out, so it was interesting rewatching it and being like, I think I liked it better the first time, which is, I don't know.
I find the criticism that like it's good, but it's not Creep kind of interesting, because I think it is Creep. Like as soon as he's on screen, like immediately, like with the blender, just turning the blender on at the inappropriate time, like that's Creep. It fits so well. So I don't know. I think it's almost just as good.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe 7 is. I'm gonna change mine. I'm gonna say it's an 8. 7 is too harsh. It is. It does recapture most of the original. It just doesn't have that one missing piece of the audience not being in the know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we can convince you to change your score on Creep 2, but not Imaginary. Jeez.
Still stand by it. Man, Imaginary. It's going to be the next horror franchise. You guys are all going to mark my words.
That's truly
Imaginary
the
2
least
is going to be
likely
a great
prediction
movie.
I've ever heard.
Imagine there's like 20 movies by the time.
It's already made its money back. It's a successful movie.
I thought it didn't make its money back.
did.
I thought the
No,
opening
Sydney
week
said
was
it
really
didn't,
bad.
but no, it's made like something like $13 million off of a $10 million budget.
Boo.
Fuck.
It's no Megan, but you know,
Megan, I
Blumhouse-
liked Megan.
It's
so.
no Skinamarink, but
It's no Skinamarink.
All right. Don't get into Skinamarink. But if you're listening to these commercials, you know you shouldn't have to. If you go to patreon.com/horror movie talk, you can sign up for any of our wonderful tiers. And we opened our pretentious review tier back up. So we're going to be doing an extra episode every month for the people that sign up for that tier. Pretentious horror movies, you know what? If you want to find out what they are, you're going to have to pay us money. But Patreon is really fun. We do a lot of cool stuff over there. We have the Afterpod, which is a completely separate podcast where we talk about our lives and usually nothing to do with horror movies. So check it out. Also,
we had a doozy of an afterpod this last
yeah,
one.
we were
Oh,
getting
man.
comment
We got a
after
lot of
comment on that
comments.
last
Yeah.
one.
All we have to do is talk about our sex life, or at least one of our sex lives, and that's going to get a lot of engagement. Is what
Yeah.
I'm learning.
we're not telling you who.
Well, it wasn't me or Bryce.
Okay. Fine. Arrest me.
Turn on the cop lights.
Oh
we
no.
go.
They're coming.
Coming.
Okay. Also, we have the Horror Movie Talk shop back up. Get your sweatshirts, get your t-shirts, get your stickers. Very comfy, very cozy. We get a lot of cool stuff over there. Also, don't forget to check out our resident artist, Dustin Goebel. He's a professional artist who fucks hard. He also takes commissions for artwork from our fans. So contact him at DGOEBEL00 on Instagram and make your artistic dreams come true, and tell him HMT sent you. Also, again, our voicemail line is 682-253-4468. I saw a couple voicemails this morning, so we love to hear from you guys. Start pouring them in. So thanks again for listening. Let's get into spoilers. Spoilers. All right. I think the way that this movie starts is very interesting. I actually forgot that this was the intro. I thought it was just the girl in her YouTube series, but
I forgot about it too, yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice surprise. So, yeah, it starts with a guy named Dave who opens a box, and we're like POV from the box. Like there's a camera in it. There's a DVD in it that says "Watch Me." There's also a stuffed wolf that we find out is in there too, which has the camera in it. So then Aaron just shows up, and you're like, oh, and he's like, buddy, Dave, what's going on, man? And he's like, I keep getting these boxes, and there's DVDs of me sleeping on there. I don't know what's going on. And Aaron's like, man, I'm so sorry. And then Dave like asks how Aaron's doing, and he's like, you are just such a wonderful, like, you're so thoughtful. You're asking me how I'm doing while you're getting stalked. That's so amazing. Then Aaron talks about how they met at a coffee shop, and he's like, isn't it weird that right after we met, you started getting these boxes and these DVDs, watching you sleep in your house? Isn't that so weird? And Dave's like, I guess. And Aaron's like, I've been doing that. It's me this whole time. And then he kills him. That's,
Yeah, one of the best
great.
lines from that section is when he's like, I'm worried about our relationship. And he's like, you are? And he's like, are you not?
He's
Just
like,
such a
I thought we
funny
were
thing to say to your
soulmates.
friends. Yeah.
It's like, we're brothers. We're soulmates. It's like,
Yeah, the Aaron character is so great because that guy. You know a quote unquote nice guy that's just a little extra, and you're like, why are you acting so nice and like so genuine? Like, don't you have any shame? And you're like, there's something underneath. There's something like, I think girls are experience this a lot more of the nice guy phenomenon of like, oh, they're actually the guys that are the creepiest, or that are like in it for ulterior motives. And
because it's never genuine niceness when someone says that they are a nice guy is
Right.
when you're like, you're not. Like, no nice person is going to be like, I am a nice person. Why aren't you texting me back? Like, that's
Right.
Those don't go together. Like,
Right.
those don't go together.
I think SNL had a great sketch of like guys approaching who was it? It was just women at a bar, and they're like approaching them as like super liberal, like woke guys, and like, hey, like feminism, right? Like, I can't believe other guys around here being such jerks to you. And you're like, oh, that's nice. But she's like just trying to have a drink with her girlfriend, and they're like, go on, and he's like, so you want to suck my dick? No, bitch. Like, just immediately, like, fucking bitch. It's like, yeah. So, but I mean, like, guys like this where it's just the oozing desperation of wanting to be included and have friends is like, it's just like a evolutionary reaction of like, ew, no, go away.
Ooh.
No, thank
He
you.
wants love too bad.
know.
Ew.
It's so sad, but it's true.
I mean, we found out in the first movie, he's obviously not a good guy. So it's like, but I guess these new people don't know that. I mean, maybe Dave was just looking for a friend too, and he was just like, oh, this guy seems nice. But yeah, so that's the intro to the movie, is that Dave dies very suddenly, and you're kind of shocked. But also knowing Aaron, by this point, you're like, okay, cool. And then I think we get the title card, and then it focuses on Sara, who she does a web show. We see a lot of clips from her web show about encounters on. I mean, they don't use Craigslist, but it's basically Craigslist, and she just finds people asking for weird stuff, and she goes and films them and puts them on YouTube. And I think the funniest one is the I want like a mommy, and he just lays in her lap and she's like, shh, baby. And it's like a grown man. That was really funny. But also I noticed that, I don't know if you guys have watched Girls on HBO, the Lena Dunham show. She was in a couple episodes of Girls, this actress. She was in Hannah's writing program in Iowa, and she was like bitchy and cool, and Hannah and her like fought a lot, and it was nice to see her. I forgot, like I watched this movie and then I watched Girls, and I didn't make the connection until I watched this again. But for all you Girls fans out there, she's in this. But yeah, so she's not getting a ton of views on YouTube. She gets 9 views on her last video. She's like, oh my God, this is the end of Encounters. Like, she's filming herself. She's like, my show sucks and I'm going to stop doing it. And then she comes across Aaron's ad.
I've never related to someone more than I related to Sara in that moment. Like, I have like posted videos or like released a song that I worked like tirelessly on hours and spent like hundreds of dollars in the studio, and then like 20 people listened to the song, and I'm like, oh no, this is so bad. It's okay though.
It's the horrors of being a creator online.
Yeah.
It's like, help me, help. But yeah, so she finds Aaron's ad and she's intrigued because it pays $1,000 a day. And that's like his whole shtick, is like, I need someone to come film a documentary for me and I'll pay you $1,000 a day. If I like was looking for work and saw something like that and I had a nice video camera, yeah, that is very enticing. That's how he draws people in. He obviously doesn't pay them though, because he kills them, which we found out in the first one. So she gets there, she's already filming. He's making the smoothie. Right when she walks in, he turns on the blender. And it's like, shh, and he's like, you want some? Like, it's so good.
I like how he turns on the blender and then she's trying to talk to him and he's just like,
he's like, I can't hear you.
Yeah, because she's like walks in and calls out for him, like, so he could have heard her,
yeah,
as he's creating the smoothie or whatever. But yeah, it's just the right level of just like, what is going on? Like, why would you do that? But then he like shuts it off and is just super friendly. So it's like disarming. Yeah, that's like. That's the funnest thing to watch with Mark Duplass in these movies, is just how perfect his timing is and how much like what he does to disarm the victims would definitely be effective. You're like, oh, it's like gaslighting. It's like, was I just thinking that was weird, or was that actually weird? He seems like a nice guy. It must have been just my misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it's that for like 2 hours until the person gets killed.
It's really effective. Like, I mean, we're so used to watching horror movies where like the killer is standoffish and strange and rude or like doesn't talk at all and just kills people. Like, there are so many tropes that just like go over and over and over again with specifically like killer movies, and this is just it's so inventive and it's so good, because like you want to laugh when you're watching a horror movie. Like, you want levity, like, and that is exactly what he gives you, while also being so creepy and funny at the same time. It's just it's excellent.
And he's more than just like nice and friendly. He's like a wounded puppy almost, where like it makes you want to be nice to him back, because you're kind of like, oh, this creepy dude is trying so hard to be my friend. I need to be nice to him.
Yeah, I think there's should be a distinction made, because like, I don't think that Aaron is creepy. Like, that wasn't. Like, I think he's cringe. Like, he's got a lot.
Yeah. That's
he's
a
got
better
Michael
word for
Scott
it.
energy. Like, it's very much very cringe, but like puppy energy. But the the thing is that cringe and that like puppy energy, it makes you feel the creeps for some reason. Like,
yeah.
Like the feeling that you get watching is like, I don't like this. Like I want this to not be happening. But that's like what you experience when you're like the emotional response to seeing someone being cringy is the same as seeing someone be an actual creep.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, that's a better way to phrase it. That's the feeling that you get from him. But also in the first one with the puppy dog thing, like he's like, I want to make a documentary for my unborn son because I have a terminal illness and I'm gonna die before he's born. And then like I forget the name of the first guy, but
It's Aaron.
name of the
guy in the first one is
right.
Aaron. So he
Right.
changes his name to be
based
Aaron
on
in
his
this one.
yeah,
on
yeah,
that
yeah.
guy,
Yeah, I totally forgot because I was like, that wasn't his name in the first one, was it? No. But yeah, he and he just like feels so bad for like this guy who's presumably dying, so he stays way longer than he should and ends up getting himself killed later on. So yeah, that's kind of how he draws people in. But in this one, he gets straight to it. He's like, okay, this is why I want to make a documentary. I'm a serial killer. I feel like I'm losing my touch. I want to make a documentary and I want to try to get my touch back and I want you to help me. And she's just like, okay. And he's like, I promise I won't kill you in the first 24 hours, which is very important. And he's like, yeah, so I just want you to help me and I want to go on this like journey of finding myself as a killer again. And she's like, okay. And he's like, you don't believe me. Okay. And she's like, I'll do it. And he's like, but you don't believe that I'm a killer. So he shows her the video of him killing Aaron in the first movie where he's on the park bench and he stands behind him and he axes him in the head. And she's just like, wow, yeah, that's excellent filmmaking, man. Like, she's like, those special effects are really wild. And he's like, all right, that's okay. And then I think that's when she goes to the bathroom and she's like very obviously freaked out. She's like, this guy, she's like, on one hand, this guy is so fucking weird and I'm getting all the red flags and I probably should leave. But on the other hand, this is premium content for my YouTube channel. So
Well,
I'm gonna
just before that, he comes out and he's like, well, before we get started, we have to get rid of the barriers. Because there's barriers.
Oh, the
between
naked
us.
part. Right.
He's like,
Sorry.
one of the barriers is that I want to see you naked. And you probably want to see me naked. So let's just get that out of the way now.
The way he describes it is great because he's like, listen, like, if you've been in like a locker room and guys are just walking around, there's like no barriers. And I think like, you know, as we're standing here with clothes, like there's, you know, we're both thinking, what does each other look like naked? So just like, I think we need to take down those barriers. And so he just drops trow. And
he does it so fast too.
Full
he just has the towel and he
frontal.
just whips it off. And
right.
Full frontal from Mark Duplass right there.
And he like poses too. He does like a little like.
My favorite part was his tan lines. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but like it was fully like he was so tan and then it was exactly like shorts length whiteness. And that was amazing. And it's a long shot. Like you see his penis for a long time.
Yeah.
And then she agrees to do it too. And when she's stripping, he zooms in on her face. And that was I was watching it with my roommate and he was like, I think that's really important. He's like focusing on her face. And I was like, also, she probably just didn't want to do full frontal for the movie. But he was like, before in the movie's universe,
right,
him zooming in on her face is like really important. And I do agree. It's very interesting because she obviously just films him naked because she's like, okay, he asked me to film this. I'm just gonna film him naked. But he zooms in on her face, and then that's when she goes to the bathroom and she weighs her options.
Yeah, I mean it's like this great. It's hard to even like talk about because it's so subtle and there's a lot of stuff going on, like dynamics wise that happen in this scene, where it's, he's very performative, and it's much more to like test their reaction and to see the person's reaction to it, but he is like doing these kind of goofy vignettes and like just kind of staring at him, being like, how you gonna react? Like,
yeah,
this is me. Like, like, are you in? And that's kind of like what he's getting, but from her, she's giving him nothing. And so he's used to like someone reacting or like cringing or just being like, what is going on?
Like making some sort of emotion with their face.
Right. And she's just like giving zero. It's just like a blank slate the whole time. And so he's like, okay. And then he starts to like move on. She's like, well, is it my turn now? And he's like, what? And he's like, he's not used to someone calling his bluff. That's what this whole movie is her calling his bluff and like being like, yeah, I'm in 100%. I'm in your universe. Like, show me you. Cause she just wants to encourage him to like, let his freak flag fly. And he's not used to it. And so it's like this interchange of like him being uncomfortable with her too. But yeah, I also think that's like a super important part that he zooms in on her face, because it is about him wanting to see the reaction and discomfort, and and it's really interesting hearing him justify his killings later on, where it's like, I gave them so many chances. I mean, I left an axe out in the stump and he just came in. It's like, but like, in the movie, it's like, yeah, you see an axe in the stump and you're like, eh.
Yeah, it's a house in the woods. Like you're
it's ironic.
Obviously gonna, yeah.
It's like he's looking at it ironically of like, what if this guy's an axe killer?
Yeah.
But to Aaron, or Mark Duplass's character, he's just like, no, you were right. Like, I am trying to show you like you should be afraid, and then they just don't leave. So I mean, it's kind of their fault that I have to kill him. Give him so many signs.
And right at the part where she comes out of the bathroom, that's where we get the first of many like attempted jump scares where he tries to scare her, but she just is not scared because it's just
the best part.
Yeah,
it's the best
just
part.
Like so confused that she's not freaking out when he does that.
Yeah, I really think that throughout the movie he does that, and I think that's one of the most effective parts of the movie, because he tries so hard. He jumps out at her so many different times. He follows her around with the camera, tries to find her, and she ends up scaring him so much more, so many more times than he ever scares her. Like, she does get freaked out by him later, and we'll talk about that, but like that's a totally different vibe. It's not because he's jump scaring her. Like, he keeps trying to, and she just has this deadpan, like, strong face for most of the movie, which is really awesome. Like, he truly met his match here, and he has no idea what to do, because when these other people like interact with him, they're usually like, what the fuck? They're like, what the fuck? But she's like, she goes on Craigslist all the time and finds these fucking weirdos to film. So she's like so unfazed. She's so unaffected that she's just like, this is another one of these dudes. So I'm just gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna stay, and I'm gonna do whatever. So after all of that stuff happens, he tries to scare her, and he's like, oh, I didn't get you. And she's like, all right, man, like, cool, like, congrats. So then it jump cuts to him driving the car wearing the wolf mask, which is so funny. He's just driving, and he's like, am I freaking you out? Is this scary? And she's like, it's scary as a passenger. Can you see? And he's like, oh, now you're scared about that? And she's like, yeah, bro, like, I don't want to get in a car accident. And he's like, okay, whatever.
His howl at the end of that scene cracks me up.
But also earlier when he was explaining why he wants to do this documentary, he talks about Francis Ford Coppola and how Francis Ford Coppola doesn't think he's made a good movie since The Conversation in 1974, but he keeps making movies. And he was like, that's how I feel right now. Like, I need to just keep doing it until I get inspired again. I need to keep killing until I'm inspired again. And then, so when he's driving the car, they go to like this spot in the woods, and he's mad because the water level is low and he wanted it to be higher. So he's sitting in the water. He's trying to talk about like October 1979. I don't even know what he's trying to say. And his hands are like going like this. And she's like, what are your arms doing? And he was like, well, I was expecting the water to be up to here. So just imagine me wading through the water. And she's like, don't do that.
Yeah, he's like saying he's going to add it in post. That
Yeah.
He's going to do the VFX.
Which he's not going to do. And it's so funny that she's giving him so much direction in this part where this has never happened to him before, where someone's actually trying to like work with him and tell him what looks good on camera. Oh, there's a shadow on you, or something. He gets so mad. And she's like, remember what Coppola said? And he's like, what? And she's like, Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola. And he's like, Popola? I was fucking dying. That shit was so funny. He's like, who's Popola? What are you saying? So that also adds to like everything that he says is so, it does not matter because he's just saying it to try to get a reaction out of someone. He doesn't mean like anything he says. And if he does, you won't be able to tell because that's his whole thing. So he tells her this big moving story about Francis Ford Coppola. And then when they're trying to actually film the documentary, she's like, remember what you said about your favorite director? And he's like, Coppola? I don't know what you're talking about right now. So he keeps getting mad at her for the direction. There's like a bird chirping. That shit was so funny. He was so mad at the bird. He throws a rock at it. He's like, I'm going to get you. You do that again. You try that again. You're messing up my shot. And then they start losing light. So he throws a tantrum and like runs away into the woods.
Yeah, he runs away, and then there's another like scene where it seems like he's going to ambush her and does like kind of the weird Peach Fuzz growl. I love the growls because it's not even close to like an actual like menacing growl. It's just like
He's like
like my 6-year-old could be more menacing than Aaron in this movie. And then she finds him just like laying face down in the dirt, like having a nap, but then he's not. Like there's so many like just like switcheroos and stuff in here. I gotta say, like right as he's having the tantrum and walking away, the comedic timing of playing the bird sound effect
Again.
is perfect.
he's so mad. He's so mad.
But yeah, he like, she finds him laying down and like she reaches out and he like takes her hand and is like, it's all very much like, I want mommy, you know, I want.
Yeah,
I
well,
want
he's such a
someone to
drama
take care of me.
queen. Like he's like
Right.
laying face down in the dirt, trying to make noises so that she'll come over and see him all dejected and just like sat on the dirt.
But yeah, it's a very sweet moment when she takes his hand and then he puts it on the back of his neck and they just like sit there. But then later they go back to the house and she's like, she grabs the camera and she's like, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know where he is, but he keeps playing this fucking annoying song on a loop and he won't stop and he won't talk to me. So then she finds him in the hot tub and he's like, I'm going to have a bad night. You should just leave. I am such a failure. I'm never going to get my spark back. Like, you should just get out of here and not come back. And then she like shuts off the music and he's like, don't do that. And she's like, why? And he explains that this like song is from an unknown band that he saw with 7 other people in the audience when he was 16, sneaking into bars because he was big for his age. He could get drinks anytime he wanted. And after he saw the band, he was going home and he got picked up by this older guy who beat the shit out of him. And then
I thought it was someone from the band. Was it not someone from the band that did it to him?
No, it was just like some guy picking up Aaron as a hitchhiker, because he was riding with the band. He says he hung out with the band for like a week touring with them, and then eventually they had to move on, and he was like, well, I can't go with you, so now he's in a strange city. He needs to get home, so he starts hitchhiking.
Okay,
Yeah.
I missed that part.
Yeah, because Aaron was definitely hanging out with a band. Like it's all so over the top and hilarious that it's like,
And you gotta
this
say
did
the
not
name
happen
of
to
the.
you.
You gotta say the name of the song that he loves.
Oh, it's Sara loves her juicy fruit. It's like, what does that mean?
There's
like
also no words. It's an instrumental, so
Yeah.
So it doesn't even matter.
Because there's a setup, like when she's originally texting him, she's like gives him her real name as Sara, and and then his response is like, oh, that's from my favorite song, and she's gonna text him like, what? And then he just texts back like, let's do this. And so like there's this unanswered question in your head, like, what song is it that mentions Sara? Sara loves her juicy fruit, which is
It's an instrumental 90s noise band. It's like kind of jazzy. It's like,
Yeah, it's
it's
a
not
jam
real.
band.
It's like not real. Like it's really, it's like he probably made that on GarageBand and then just made up the name. Like it really is so ridiculous. So
yeah. So this whole scene, like of him in the hot tub, which is first like kind of a recreation of the bathtub scene in the first one,
yeah.
but this, operates as like an expansion of his character. It gives you his background of like, okay, if you're wondering like, why is he the way he is, and he like gives you more information, but then it's also kind of like a untrustworthy narrator. It's like, how much of this are you taking seriously? Because he's saying he was picked up and there's a guy that made him dig his own grave, and then he was going to kill him, but then he turns on the killer. He gets out of the ropes and turns on the killer and kills him, but then he takes on one of the killer's traits, which is like
Trichotillomania or something.
yeah, like picking hairs from his beard, and then he says like every time he kills someone, he takes on some part of their trait, which explains why his name is Aaron.
Aaron, yeah.
It's
Now and not
so
Joseph
funny.
from the last film.
Yeah, and
And it's
also when he talks about killing Aaron, the actual Aaron, he said, "Oh, that was my pal Buddy," which is what he called his son, his fake son in the first movie.
Oh, I didn't
which
catch that.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
That's
I
interesting.
caught that.
Yeah, so I mean, the like in terms of like as a sequel expanding on the original, like it's showing you here's more of the backstory, here's more information about the character, like we're opening up the world a little bit, but also it's maintaining you don't know how much of what he says is bullshit,
Right.
You still don't know if any of this is true or not. And
I mean, I don't believe any of it,
right.
honestly.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's true, because at the end he says, I stripped him naked and I laid with him for a full night. And he's like, I do that with all my victims. But I don't think that's true, because when he killed Aaron, he just hit him with an axe and ran away.
Yeah, because he was in a public park. So it's like, yeah, you're right. He's definitely not doing that with every single one of them. Because he's not...
Can
Go
we
ahead.
talk about what this basement is? Like, what is this basement? It's like a cave with the gross looking hot tub in it.
It's not even on. The hot tub is not on. Like, it looks like
I don't
cold.
know what to think about it.
Like, I do like this house better than the house in the first movie, because it's like bigger and it's like grimier in a way. Like it's very stuck in like a 80s 90s kind of like decor, which makes it just a lot stranger. Like it's a lot more off-putting, and it's kind of like, is he like making more money to be able to like, what is his job? Like what does he do?
I don't know. I think like I might be wrong, but I think he probably just steals the house of the last person that he killed.
Oh, you're
could
probably
be.
right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, he said he rented the house last time.
Yeah, but you never know. But yeah, so he gets all worked up telling her all of this lore about him, which is true or not, who knows. I mean, I believe the stuff about him taking on something from someone else, because he can just lie and like he can believe his own lies, like whatever. So she literally shuts off the music and gets in the gross hot tub with him and massages him, and he is like so aroused by this. Like he is like, you can tell, like it is so gross to watch his facial expressions in this, but it also makes it so good because he's so like into it, and she's just like, you know, trying to do something nice for him. Like she's like, oh, this guy is like hurting inside, so I'm just gonna relax him and give him a massage. And he keeps telling her to leave before this, and she's like, no, I'm not gonna leave. Like you need someone right now, and I'm gonna be there for you. So it's so weird when she massages him, but you know, it adds a layer of like she cares about him in a way. She's like,
I kind of wanted that massage. It looked good.
I know, it looked nice.
She was really getting in
she was
there.
really rubbing on that neck. It looked good.
Yeah, she was like kind of like showing him like, yeah, if we fuck, I'm gonna choke you. Like
Yeah.
you know, that's definitely the vibe she's sending. Yeah, I mean it's kind of a weird thing in this one, just having the sexual tension element of it that's not in the first, because even in the first there's a little bit of sexual tension because you're like, is this guy trying to fuck me? Is always kind of an ongoing question, but like in this one, it's like it's the added element of like, yeah, there is sexual tension, but also he's kind of intimidated by her. And so, yeah, it's a interesting exchange. And then, was it here that he reveals the two truths and a lie, or two lies and a truth?
No, that's later.
No,
that's
that's
after
later.
the suicide stuff. Or the
Okay.
unaliving.
Yeah.
Oh no, oh no, oh no,
No.
oh no, oh no.
Censored. But yeah, so after that, she gets out of the gross hot tub and goes, I'm gonna go take a shower, which awesome. Yes, I agree with you. I would do the same thing, girl. So she goes and gets in the shower, and apparently it's like an ensuite bathroom to one of the bedrooms, and he like takes the camera and he's like, I'm gonna scare her. I'm gonna go get you. Sarah, where are you? Sarah, where are you? And he goes into the shower and lifts back the curtain, and she runs out in a towel with tape all over her face to make it look like a mask. So, like she kind of looks like a pig, like she got her nose taped up. And he falls to the ground. Like he is scared. And that's like the first time where I think both of them realize like the power dynamics are not what he wanted in this, but he likes it in a way. Like he's very intrigued by Sarah, and he already was, but this adds to it.
Because she's being a reflection of him, because it's not scary, it's really goofy, like the tape mess. I mean, it's very like, it's like almost Jim Carrey level of just like what is going on. Yeah, and then there's like kind of a very playfulness, and then they start running and chasing after each other after this, right?
They play hide and seek for a little while.
Yeah.
And then they try to jump scare each other. Yeah. And then is that kind of where they get into the next kind of part where he's trying to I'm trying not to say the S word.
Yeah, so he like
unalive himself.
Yeah,
so like
himself.
they kind of like play around for a while, and then the next scene is him kind of sitting down, and then he reveals that he knows that she has a YouTube channel, and that like she's been telling a lot of lies about her background, and that
like, I know you're not a wedding videographer. And he's like, I wrote down a lot of one-liners here. He's like, she's like, she sees the axe and she's like, do you want to ram that axe in my face? And he's like, yeah, of course. Which is so good. And then he just talks about random bullshit that makes this so, like, it's so good. Like, he was like, you ever watch a deer just be a deer? Like,
Yeah.
like, bro, what are you doing?
I actually thought that line was really good, because what he's doing is he's stalking her. He's videoing her from afar as she's doing the dishes. And then when she notices, she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, do you ever just watch a deer being a deer, which
Yeah.
is actually a really brilliant line. I like it a lot.
It is. But yeah, and then he reveals like, oh, I know you're not a wedding videographer. You got this YouTube channel. You want me to be on there, and also I know about the knife in your boot. You're not slick. Which I'm just assuming that he's watching the tapes back when she leaves her camera somewhere, because she does reveal that she has the knife in her boot when she's in the bathroom earlier. So then they have this long talk, and he's like, this is what the movie's actually about. I want you to kill me. And it's going to be so great. Like, I'm done. Like, I've peaked. I'm not a good killer anymore. And I just want you to kill me. And she's like, what the fuck? So then he puts on the wolf mask. He lays on the table. He says, take the axe. I sharpened it. You'll be able to cut straight through the bone. You'll chop my head right off. And she's just standing there with the axe, and she obviously can't do it. She's not a killer. And he's like, why can't you do this? Why can't you do this? So she gets really weird about this, and he's like, okay, I have a good idea. I'm gonna hang myself from the balcony, and then you just don't save me. So it's like, you didn't really do it. You're just a bystander who didn't do anything to save me. And she's like, she doesn't believe that he's going to do it. And then he does. And that is just like the biggest mic drop. Like, she switches at that point. Like, the rope eventually falls. He does not die. And she is so mad at him. She's putting on her shoes. She's like, I'm done. Fuck you, fuck off, I'm leaving. Like, that was not funny. That was not cool. Like, I thought we were having a good time. And he actually talks her down, which is really surprising. Like, if I was in that situation, yeah, I'd fucking run out of there. I'm sorry. Like,
what he shows her is that he had a harness on the whole time, and that he wasn't actually hanging himself, which makes her be like, oh, it was just like a really elaborate joke.
Which is so not funny. It's not funny.
No.
Like, I don't know why she's like, okay, cool. Like, no, I would be, no. But then this is when Two Lies and a Truth happen. And do you guys believe he never slept with a woman? Do you believe that?
100%.
Yeah, I definitely believe it. I don't know what you're talking about. Of course.
But he, like, with all the shit that he does, I'm assuming that one of these women he killed, after their death, he did some creepy shit.
Oh, well, I mean, that doesn't count.
Okay.
No, that
all
doesn't
right.
count.
I guess you're right.
But I will say, Mark Duplass looking kind of hot in this movie sometimes.
I don't know. He's got a nice looking dick. I mean, if we're being honest. Like,
if we have to be truthful here.
I would happily trade him.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Sydney,
I mean,
what are your thoughts on his dick?
I'm not gonna say anything about his dick. It's a dick. But
well, if you were to rate Aaron versus Sara, like who's more your type? Who would you be like? Yeah, I'd hit it.
I'm gonna be honest. The scene in the hot tub, he looks really hot. Like, that is like the hottest scene for me.
Yeah, he's got his like emo hair going on, where it's like draped over his eyes, and he's all moody.
Yeah, and he's, like, he's in good shape. Like, it's, I don't know. I would probably say Aaron is more my type. Sara, I would want to be friends with her. Like, she's cool. Like, she's a badass. I really like her. But I think she looks hotter at the end of the movie, which we'll get into. But yeah, so she was like, you've never had your first kiss, and she kisses him, and that's where it's like, okay, like, we're back on like our cute little track. He completely falls in love with her, though. That was my interpretation, is he completely falls head over heels at this moment for her. And he's like, then they go in the woods, and she's like, what are we doing? And she sees a grave, and she's like very scared, and she's like, what the fuck? And he's like, we're gonna die together like Romeo and Juliet. I'm gonna kill myself, you're gonna kill yourself, and then we're gonna die hugging in this grave together. And so he stabs himself a bunch of times in the gut, and hands her the knife, and she books it. Like she's out of there. And then he catches her and throws her in the grave and stabs her, right? Or he stabs her somewhere in the woods, and throws her in the grave.
Stabs her a bunch of times. Which, how many stabs can you live through? Like, I feel like someone stabs me once, good chance I'm going out.
It depends where.
But he stabbed himself like 5 times and her like 6 times. Like, there's a lot of stabbing.
This is our suspension of
and
disbelief.
And he's still like chasing her around and dragging her to the grave with those stab wounds. It's very
he's in really good shape. This is why, he's practicing. But so after she gets stabbed, he starts talking to the camera like she's dead, and he's gonna finish killing himself and get in the grave with her.
Well, no, he says he changes his mind, which I think is really funny. He's talking to the camera and he's like, I actually don't think I want to kill myself anymore. So I'll just bury her.
Which, I think, you're right. I think that if she had complied at the beginning, like with killing herself with him, then he would have done it. Because he is in love with her, but since she ran, he was like, oh, she's not me. Like, she's not my counterpart. I'm not going to kill myself anymore. But you see her in the background. She gets up, she grabs a shovel, she whacks him over the head, and you think that's the end. And then the camera flashes to months later. She has a different hair color and haircut. I don't know how much later. It just ends with Sara walking around New York City and on the subway, and he starts doing his distinct whistle tone, and she locks eyes with the camera. Black screen, done.
See, here, I was confused about whether this was after or before, because to me it could have been before. Like, he could have been stalking her for a while. But
that's interesting.
But maybe
I'm pretty
not.
sure
No,
it was
'cause
after.
It must have been after, because in all the videos that it shows with her doing encounter, she has the dyed
Purple.
hair.
Yeah, the purple
and then
hair.
After it's just brown. Yeah. So
I thought it was
leave
great.
it open. It does leave it open for a sequel.
Well, they did say that they were going to do Creep 3 like 5 years ago, and there's nothing really about it.
Yeah, what I heard is that they were like just trying to figure out like what they could do new, and they just haven't come up with a good idea yet of like how to continue it on, which I respect.
Yeah, that
Just
makes a lot of sense.
But also, I was trying to look up like budget for this movie and stuff, and Mark Duplass was like, "What budget? We just used a camera and used 2 actors for both of the movies. Like, it's probably not that expensive," which makes sense. That was cool.
Yeah, I guess the house was probably the most expensive part, unless they literally just used one of their houses, which is kind of crazy, but also genius. I don't know.
Yeah. So who would like this movie, guys?
I mean, definitely fans of the first one. I mean, like if you like this, I think it's a good horror comedy, found footage movie. Yeah, I mean, I think the same thing with Creep is like it's a lot better than you expect. Like, from the poster and the amount of people talking about it, even though a lot of people talk about these movies, like it's not even close to how much this should have had accolades around it. Like, this should have been one of the biggest, franchises in horror, and it's just kind of like a hidden indie gem still. But yeah, I'd say just everyone. I mean, even like my wife could sit through this. There's nothing so frightening or menacing that like you can't sit through it as a non-horror fan too.
Yeah, and there's not that much gore, so
yeah.
I think anyone could enjoy it. Like, it's funny. It's really funny, and both of them are funny. So like, if you don't like horror, I think you'd still like it.
Yeah, I also think like you don't even need to watch the first one to watch this one, because if you didn't see the first one and watch this one, you still wouldn't believe that he was a serial killer. Like you wouldn't. Like you would still have that suspension of disbelief. But yeah, it's really good. I think everyone should see it. All right, do you want to get into my not game?
Let's do it.
So I went to best of Craigslist misconnections, and it just pulls up like the highest rated ones. I pulled a bunch, so we don't need to read all of them. But I'll give you all the titles of the ones, and you pick which one you want me to do first, and then I'll just go from there. Okay, so we have Dog Poop Girl. We have Naughty at a Funeral. We have Did You Lose a Ham? We have Seen You Eating Cat Food. We have You Was at the Ultrasound Tech at Bronson Cox Hospital.
Okay, let's start with that one.
Yeah, that
one's got my vote.
This is Woman for Woman. That is what it says. It was Thursday night. I had a UTI, and you was like Hermione from Harry Potter with your ultrasound wand and cast a spell on me.
Oh, I don't like that.
I was there with my boyfriend, but would leave him for you because you know how to work it, girl. If you want to go get McDonald's sometime, hit me up. Tell me how big the cyst on my ovary was so I know it's you.
That's so gross.
This was 2017. Tell me how big.
Run.
These were the two other titles after that. Yeah, lousy sex, but it was your fault. And then
that one sounds good too.
Yeah, let's hear that one.
living room, ice clinking in our drinks, your lips glistening in the dim candlelight, a soft scent of fine perfume, a silent thunderstorm of desire. Then you did the unimaginable. You poured the rest of your vodka and 7 into the small plastic aquarium where my sea monkeys live. I panicked but tried to look calm. You slid down the zipper of your slinky black dress, but I had one eye on the sea monkey village as the vodka infused their little magic world.
Oh no.
Fine satin underwear, you tossing back your long silky hair, but I couldn't turn away from the turmoil they were now experiencing. I didn't read these before, so stumbling
That actually
through
makes me sad.
stumbling through their little sea monkey village, singing firework loud and off key, yelling "I love you, man" down the streets of Sea Monkey Village. I was distracted. I couldn't focus on what we were doing. I know it wasn't good. Can I get a do-over? 2012.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
That one makes me really sad. I don't like that.
Just love the idea of someone just being distracted during sex because of dying brine shrimp.
What? Like, why would you pour your drink into the fucking aquarium?
She's probably just trying to be like cool and like
Sexy
hot,
and reckless.
You know, it's like I'm done with this and dumping it into the sea monkeys and killing them all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this one is 2011. Guy with skid mark bought a gallon of whole milk, Circle K. I was in my bikini at the Circle K. You came in with your short shirt and your bike shorts on. They were white and you had a pretty sexy skid mark standing your behind. You got 11 sticks of beef jerky and a gallon of whole milk, then rode off on your bike. I will know it's you because you paid in pennies. Location, Pensacola, Florida. I expect nothing less of Pensacola. You paid in pennies.
I mean, these are all fake, right?
I don't know.
They all sound like fan fiction to me.
I mean, why not?
You don't have to ruin the magic, Max.
I just think they're funny.
I mean, it's fun believing that they're real, but like, I don't know.
Do they even have misconnections? Do they still have misconnections? Oh, they do.
Yeah, they
on
do.
Craigslist.
Yeah. They're alive and well. I'm gonna do Did You Lose a Ham? Because this one I could put this, I'll put this on the document so you guys can see. This one is not fake because there's a picture of it. So I put it on the last page of the document, so I'll read it. Did you lose a ham? Perhaps a bear broke into your kitchen and stole it from the counter where it was cooling and then discarded it because it was overly salty. Or maybe you and some other scenesters you met were snacking on it during Moog Fest. But then when you woke up Monday morning next to the trash cans in Chicken Alley, it was gone. I'm not sure of all the possible scenarios in which someone might lose a ham. It's in worse shape than when I saw it last night, perhaps due to the rain or a random vagrant gnawing on it. The brown fat on the outside isn't so deliciously crispy looking this morning. It's a bone-in ham. Not sure it's obvious from the photo, but it's been eaten on some, and there's definitely some serious meat left on it. Looks like it was pretty tasty in its day. Anyways, lying in the mulch between the Civic Center and the sidewalk. I'm sure you'll be relieved to know where it is. And then it's a picture of a ham on the ground. That was 2014. We have another 2014. Seen you eating cat food, woman for man. Seen you eating cat food out of a can. You was using a fork. Looks like you got some manners. I like that.
Was he just eating a can of tuna, though?
I don't know.
Because humans can eat that, too.
You can eat cat food. It's just fish.
Sure. It's not, I don't think it's just fish, but...
I mean, yeah.
If it was just fish, you wouldn't call it cat food. You'd call it fish.
Yeah, I mean, the cat food I get for my cat is just fish. So you could eat it. Okay, I have 3 more. We don't have to do all of them, but I'll read the titles. So we have Naked Dumpster Diver. We have Dog Poop Girl and Naughty at a Funeral. Which ones?
Let's do the Poop Girl and then Naughty at a Funeral.
Naughty at a Funeral.
All right.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
This one is 2023, so very recent.
Oh, fresh. Wow.
Dog Poop Girl. You, girl with dark hair and headphones walking her black and white pit bull and lads. Me, confused. A few months ago, I was walking my dog and saw your pit bull poop. You knelt down and started picking at the grass next to it for quite a while. I asked you if you needed a bag and you said no, it was too wet to pick up. With your bare hands? Question mark? I think I said something along the lines of, well, you should try because it's gross. But honestly, I didn't know what to say because I wasn't sure of what I just saw, so I walked away. As fate would have it, I saw your dog pooping again this morning. I saw you kneel down and conceal it with the leaves around it this time. At first, I was grossed out and annoyed. Now I'm just confused and a little bit amused because it seems like you have an MO in regards to your dog's shit. Is it a territory thing? Is it not more disgusting to get that close to poop barehanded than just to use bags? Maybe I'm the weirdo for stopping to see what you'll do with your dog's poop this time. The offer still stands. If you're in need of bags, please reply to this and I will give you a whole box. They're pretty cheap and more sanitary than your current approach. This goes for anyone in lads. I don't know. She's not picking up the poop. She's covering it
with
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is impressive the amount of effort taken to not just pick it up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wouldn't be grossed out by it.
Yeah. All right. Last one. Naughty at a Funeral, woman for man. I'm looking for the guy that I banged at my uncle's funeral 2 weeks ago. We were sitting next to each other and you started rubbing my leg while trying to comfort me. You told me that I was beautiful and the next thing I knew, we were walking to the bathroom. I'm really worried because you never did say how you knew my uncle and I'm freaking out that we could be related. If not, I thought maybe we could continue where we left off. Maybe it was because it was taboo, but it was so hot. I don't think the funeral director knew what to think when we walked out of the bathroom together. Anyways, I hope to hear from you, Kansas City.
Do people have no shame?
Why would she not ask how they...
Also, that was definitely her cousin. Like,
yeah,
100%.
like, are you fucking joking? Like, why wouldn't you ask who they were at your fucking family member's funeral? I don't know. I don't think that's a place for banging.
This kind of brings up an argument I was having with my wife the other day about how close is too close to marry. Like, we agree first cousins shouldn't happen. It's kind of weird.
No.
But after that, the genes are going to be fine. Second cousins, it's going to be fine. Right?
Are you and your wife
so,
related?
like,
No.
your cousin's kids, that's fine?
I don't know. I think once the problem of like Because the reason there's multiple reasons it's taboo. Number one, it's because it's family. Number two is because there's like a gene issue, right?
Right.
But taking out the gene issue, it's kind of just like what people want to do. You know, if you're both adults, you can make
Yeah,
that decision.
I think second cousins is going to get you side eye, but
No, it will.
there's I think it's probably okay.
By the way, me and my wife are like 10th cousins, so I just want to throw
Okay.
that out there. So I'm not trying to advocate for my cousin marriage or something.
Right, because I mean, if you're thinking about it, like you got two other families intermixed in the second cousins at that point. So, and I think that's actually not super uncommon. And
Yeah.
I've got some hot second cousins. I'll tell you.
Okay.
Well,
All right. Yeah.
and I feel like that used to be like the thing. It's like, no, we keep
Hey.
it in the family, you know? Like, we're not going to go
Right.
brother, sister, but we'll go second cousin.
Right. Right.
I have a huge family. I have a lot of second cousins that I'm very close to in a cousin way. Would never. My
But what if you
family.
were close to them in a non-cousin way?
No.
Okay, how about this? How about it's your
No.
half brother's daughter?
Okay, I have a sister that's not technically related to me. She's also 6. It's her birthday tomorrow, actually. She's turning 6. So yeah, that would take a long time for something like that to happen. I do have a half sister and she's 2. So yeah, no.
Right.
No.
Well, so
no
my-
family
my
member
question
at
is-
all, actually.
My question
no.
is more like, where do you draw the line? Because you're technically related to everyone you know somewhere down
Right.
the line.
Right.
Well, I would like really far.
Well, how far is really far? Like,
Well,
third
yeah,
cousins?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, genetic component is one thing, but also like the closeness, because
yeah.
you can have an adopted sibling, and you're like, that is creepier than all get out. To think of, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna get with
Yeah,
my
no.
sister.
Okay.
Ugh.
Well, but here's the thing. I have never met a third cousin in my life. Never met a third cousin. So if I randomly found out that I was dating my third cousin, probably just keep it a secret. Probably just continue what I'm doing.
I don't even know if I have third cousins. I mean, I probably do. Like, I've done.
What do you mean you don't
23andMe.
have third cousins?
I mean, they're there, right? I don't know.
Yeah, you
don't-
have third cousins, you have fourth cousins, you have fifth cousins. You have them all.
Well, I'm gonna say right now, like, I am of Italian, British, and like Irish descent. Okay, that's like my main gene pools. My boyfriend is like Scottish and Canadian and like, you know, white people things. And so that me and him are probably really fucking far apart.
Yeah, you're
and
probably like
that's-
15th cousins.
That's great. I don't want to think about it like that, but like, no, I don't know. I would, if I found out that I was dating someone that I was related to, even like 5th cousin, no, I wouldn't want that.
What if it's like a 5th cousin, but you have the same last name?
That's weird. That's.
Because then it's like a straight line. A straight
Right.
line down the genealogy. It's not
I have
like
a very common
staggered.
last name though, so like, that's.
Actually,
Could
okay,
be
this is
anyone.
okay. So this is actually what brought up the conversation, is because one of her friends on Instagram posted a picture of her genealogy next to her husband's genealogy, and they were like 10th cousins or something, but they had the same last name because it went straight down.
That's weird. I think that's weird. That's really strange.
It is strange.
But also, my last name is my paternal grandfather's stepfather's last name. So technically, my last name is not blood related to me at all. So if I met someone that had the same last name as me, I wouldn't assume that I was related to them at all. Like, at least by blood, I probably wouldn't be. Because there's only a few people in my family that have my last name. So, yeah, I don't like this conversation at all, actually. I really don't like this.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up and get on to the afterpod.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Creep 2. Don't forget our voicemail line is 682-253. I forget it. What is it? Why did I X out?
253-4468.
Thank you.
Also, can we just say thank you for all the support we've gotten in the past like week? So many people are like reaching out to us and commenting and like loving the stuff. So that was really cool to see. Actually, lots of positive.
Thank you
comments.
so much. We're really we got a lot of comments on the last afterpod. A lot of Patreon love, a lot of YouTube love. We really appreciate you guys. We love our patrons. Go over there and join the club. Yeah, we really love all of our fans, and we appreciate everything you guys do and how much you guys support us. It is felt in our hearts. So yeah, thank you everyone. Thanks for listening to this episode.
Bye.
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 Good day, sir. Good day, sir. You lose. You get nothing. Is that me? Yes, it is.
I just took a stroll through the scraggly woods.
He had no face.
Horror!
Wow, that didn't sound good.